It's the end of August, and once again Tim and I are out here in one of our favorite places in the world, Algonquin Provincial Park. It almost feels like we're cheating for this trip because we've made it really easy on ourselves.
The put-in is so easy from here. This is a nice, easy way to do it.
Literally, the canoe paddle to this site is about 15 minutes. You can even see where we launched the canoe from.
So we can bring some extra luxuries like a lounge chair so you can sit out and just relax and enjoy the sunshine.
There's nothing wrong with having a nice, easy backcountry camping trip. It's nice. It's a great site, lots of open space.
This is a nice flat open spot here though, so it's great for setting up tents.
Once we arrived at the site, we first of all decided to go check out some of the other sites.
And we paddled down just to go down the lake and see some of the other campsites.
The other ones that are close by here aren't that great. They're really shady.
This is the best site because it's on the sunny side, because you don't want to be on the other side where it's just in the shade all day long. It's so cold when you're in the shade and the wind is blowing. Here it's beautiful. We set up our tents.
I have just been setting up my tent. It's tricky. I found some really good trees, got my tent perfectly aligned, but unfortunately I'm still having trouble getting it balanced right. It's still not holding nice and flat, so I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've also brought my hammock, and I may actually even try sleeping in that depending on the weather tonight. So we'll see. It'll be a toss-up between either being in my tent-style tent or sleeping in a hammock. So I've been setting up my tent. Tim's gone off looking for wood. This site has been picked over quite a bit, so you got to go far to get wood. He's left his whistle behind, I think. Although the rope looks a little old, so it might be somebody else's whistle that was left behind here. He normally goes off only with his whistle, so I'll find out when he gets back if he actually has it. That is Tim's whistle. I found him, lazy bugger. He's lying out in the sun. Ironically, this being such an easy trip in terms of getting to the site, I packed less stuff than I normally pack. I decided to try and pack a little lighter than I do normally because I do want to start doing a little bit more backpacking, which I used to do a lot of. And honestly, the stuff that I've been packing over the last couple of years has grown, and it's going to make it hard to pack light enough to do a backpacking trip. So I've packed a lot less. Even in terms of the stuff that I'm using to shoot this video, I normally bring a lot more camera gear, but on this trip I've limited it to one DSLR with one lens, a 50mm lens. I've got a microphone. I brought 2 GoPros and a couple of stands like my little tiny tripod, and I'm using my cell phone. Nothing wrong with that little setup there. It gets me everything that I need, and it takes up much less space than normally what I bring. There are quite a few mosquitoes coming out now. It's been not too bad throughout most of the day, but I guess it is dusk now, so they are coming out. I think I'll put on a long sleeve shirt soon, and that should do the trick. I'm still not sure if I'm going to be sleeping in my tent or in my hammock. I haven't decided yet. I think I might try the hammock first. I have a feeling I'll end up in the tent by the end of the night. I got up pretty early this morning, probably because I went to bed quite early the night before. But I got up and it was beautiful. The sun was shining. It was dead calm, not a breeze. I decided I would hop out in the canoe and do a little paddle around. I paddled all the way back to the launch point. One thing that's handy about being so close to where we started was it's easy to come back and get stuff that you forgot. I forgot my roll of toilet paper in the car, so I came back and got that. And conveniently got to use the outhouses that were here. Now I probably don't need the roll of toilet paper, but I got it anyway. I paddled back up past the campsite and beyond into this little marshy area where I just sat for a while. This is incredible. It is so peaceful out here. This is fantastic. I could have sat there all day if it had stayed like that. It was a really good morning. It's just after 9 o'clock. I've been out for a paddle. It's really nice out there. And now I'm gonna grab our food bags. After breakfast, or I guess brunch, as it was just before lunchtime, we decided to go for a little bit of exploring. We paddled all the way down Farm Lake into Crotch Lake. From Crotch Lake, we took the portage that goes to Orem Lake.
I've stayed at that lake before, and there's other ways you can access it right from the main road.
Right by Orem, there's this it's either an old road or an old ATV trail. And we decided to follow that and see where it came out. And eventually we were able to make our way to the road that drives into the access point here.
So marker 24 is right there. So at the 24K mark, this little path goes right over to the other lake and the portage. Ben and I were chopping up wood for a while, so you get all hot and sweaty. So went in for a nice swim. The water's very warm, so this was so nice to cool off and refresh in the nice water. Nice and calm now, no wind. If you can listen to the quiet, that's unbeatable. Pretty good.
This morning was another beautiful morning, dead calm, clear skies. I went for another little paddle, just back towards the start and back again. It's a nice little paddle up and down the lake that way. decided to canoe all the way up Farm Lake. We've been up there before last year when we camped at Bridle Lake. There's a portage at the end of the lake that goes to Bridle Lake, and there's a portage just below that that goes over to Kitty Lake. From there, you can take a portage that goes over to Booth Lake. Booth Lake is a very popular lake. There's a lot of campsites on that lake. Practically everybody that was canoeing by our campsite said they were going to Booth Lake. In fact, there was two big groups that were heading that way. So we portaged over to Kitty Lake. Kitty Lake's a nice little lake. It ends up going down sort of a river towards some rapids which are flowing into Kitty Lake. So the portage from Kitty to Booth starts there, and it's about 550 meters. We decided to leave the canoe behind. Why carry it when we're just going to go check out the the other lake anyway? We're wimps. It's neat. The rapids that go along there are pretty cool. There's actually a dam at the end of it, and then Booth Lake opens up, and Booth Lake looks like it's a really nice lake. It's a pretty big lake. We got to the end of the portage. You can see where somebody was actually unloading their canoe and carrying along the trail, but the trail seemed to continue a little bit, and there's some old railway ties just sitting across the trail, so there must be an old railway line around here somewhere. We'll have to look it up on the map.
Trip about 4 years ago, about 18 trips ago, when we had no rain for 4 days. That was sweet.
Despite the rain, the sky looks nice. This morning I got up really early. It was quite chilly, so I decided to keep warm. I would start packing stuff up. I made one run already to the car with one pack, and then came back, started a fire to keep warm. Now Tim's up having breakfast. It's been a great few days. We can't really complain about the weather. Unfortunately, it was on the last night that we had the bad weather, but it's been nice and sunny, pretty warm, and overall really good.